Today, our guest is the one and only Santiago Arana. Not only he has sold some of the most extraordinary homes in the country, but he's the principal of the agency, which is a brokerage that has been taken by storm, Real Estate Global. And now he's here with us in the Luxury Real Estate and Wellness Summit to bring the knowledge, to bring the magic, and also to enjoy a nice workout day.
LA is always going to be LA. And the amazing thing is like incredible sales are happening right now.
I'm going to fight you on that one. Because I used to live in LA. LA will never be LA again. What was the secret sauce to breaking in? That's what I think what everybody wants to know, because everybody is trying to be broker. What is the secret sauce?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. Your host Alvaro and our co-host
Robert Rivani. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming on today. We're super excited for this podcast.
Today, our guest is the one and only Santiago Arana, which is a great dear friend of mine. Not only he has sold some of the most extraordinary homes in the country, but he's the principal of the agency, which is a brokerage that has been taken by storm, Real Estate Global. And now he's here with us in the Luxury Real Estate and Wellness Summit to bring the knowledge, to bring the magic, and also to enjoy a nice workout day.
That's right.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank
you for having me in this beautiful house, beautiful setting. I just did cold plunge. I wanted to try a little bit of everything. You have a good setup here.
Well, let's start with the obvious, because we are all set up here in workout clothes. This is what we're doing here. We're blending real estate with wellness, and you are a biohacker by nature. This is one of the passions of yours that you're also integrating into real estate. So how are you currently putting real estate and wellness together? Because you're as a developer, as a broker, how are you integrating both?
I think that the wellness has become a very important part of everybody's life now, right? This is a popular thing to do, right? And it's the good thing to do, it's the healthy thing to do. I've been doing it for 3 years now. I investigate little by little, right? First, I started with a cold plunge. I really like it. I really like the results you get with that. So I do cold plunge every day, right? That's how I start my day with. And how I incorporate it is, selling high-end real estate, you always thinking about what's the new thing that you can add to a property, right? As a developer, because I own a development company on the side, when I sold my house to LeBron James, I realized that the things that they were more interesting to him and he was really taken by were little details like, I had at the time, which was like, I want to say 6-7 years ago, maybe a little bit more. We did a beautiful gym with a sauna, with a steamer, with a massage area, wellness, with the heated floors, and that was at the time like a lot. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he walked into the gym and he looked at it, and it was a proper gym, not with the staging machines. I actually got a company to come and bring real equipment. So I could see that these people emotionally relate to that. So he related with the equipment. Then he went in the sauna. I can see that he imagines like, I'm going to work out, I'm going to get a massage therapy here, I'm going to get in the sauna. And that's when I started to realize that more and more people, they're getting interested on wellness. What else can we add? So then I started into my journey of what can I do for myself. When you say that you don't believe that I have a 17-year-old kid, was like, that's music to my ears, right? It's working out.
Good for you.
So because I actually I have a doctor that, there is, I can't remember the name of this newest DNA test that can calculate and how are you aging, right? How fast are you aging? So I did it like 6 months ago, and I'm aging 9 months and 3 weeks every year.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So and you do different things, right? You can, from diet to I do cold plunge, I do red light therapy, I do the sauna, high heat sauna and infrared are important for me. So I have all this in my house, and I do that every day.
No, this is amazing, and this is one of the things that both Robert and I were talking about with the new building, Rivani, is making sure that we're transforming it into a 5-star hotel feel where you have that wellness and biohacking space, because right now people realize that your health is your wealth. So it's not just about partying hard and being in the zen, but also to take care of your own health, and you're integrating that very nicely now with the real estate. Not sure if I'm able to disclose it, but not only you've been ranked amongst some of the top real estate agents in the country for many years in a row, but you're also a developer, and you're now not just selling the houses of some of the big celebrities that we know, but you're also building their homes and creating those spaces. So walk us through some of that, because you were not always that successful guy. You were putting tables, and now you are selling and developing these homes.
Right. So because of that experience, the next house I added more, and then the next house I added a whole gym, indoor gym, and opened into a CrossFit gym with all the equipment of CrossFit, because CrossFit like five years ago was really important, especially in LA. Everybody was doing it. In the new house that I'm doing right now, that's going to be ready in March. It's a big house, a 20,000 square feet house. I have basically about 2,000 square feet only of gym. I have a wellness center with a cold plunge, and that's why I'm looking at all your new machines in here to see like what else I'm going to put in here, right? So, but I'm doing a custom design cold plunge with a company that I found up in Northern California. That it has not only the ozonator system to keep the water clean, but it has also an ultraviolet system that is the newest in kind. And I'm doing it in different levels, because when you do the plunge, actually a lot, it makes a big difference whether you're doing it sitting down or lying down or you're standing up.
Is that happening to you
right?
already?
I mean, I'm just lucky if I get in the plunge in the first.
I've been forcing him to do it.
Different positions.
He sends me like videos. Hey, I'm in.
Yes.
I have to brag to him if I do like once per week. I'm like, yeah, I finally got there.
Yeah. So, and it becomes addicting, right? Like if I don't,
No,
for some
it does
reason,
not. No,
oh, it does. You'll see.
It does not become addictive.
Hey, I'm with you.
Every time I go out, I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah,
But
like
God
right
bless
now
you.
I've been in Miami for 5-6 days, and I didn't have the chance to do it, and I'm going crazy. So I saw it here. The first thing I did is go in here. So I have that. I'm going to put a couple of high heat saunas to raise it up to 220 at least.
220?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh, but not infrared, because I do an infrared sauna and I'm like at
Yeah,
140,
infrared doesn't
150 and I almost die.
Right. So infrared and high heat have different benefits, right? So what I did in my house, for example, I bought the barrel that gets to 240 actually. And inside I put one of those panels of infrared inside, so you can get both.
I love
that. I'm doing all that in the house. I have 2-lane swimmers, indoor 100-foot long pool. I have the CrossFit gym. I have the cardio area.
When are we going?
So I'm putting all this
When is
stuff,
that?
right?
Oh my God, damn.
No, we all
Hey,
invited
next
for sure.
Next
March
event
next
we do
year.
it there. Next event we do it there.
Yeah, why not?
That'll be a great
And you're building
opportunity.
this in LA?
It's in LA, yeah, it's in Brentwood.
So for all the people that are in real estate, there's a big thing going on that LA real estate's falling apart because of the laws, the mansion tax. I sold my home. I think your company, Mauricio, a couple of people sold my house. And the market ever since Measure Eula came out has gone and slaughtered, destroyed, at least from what I'm seeing. Prices are coming down. Things are not like it was 10 years ago where it's multiple bidders over each other. The luxury market has kind of fizzled. What would be your response to that?
My response is an evolving response. If you would ask me this during COVID and in the last 2 years, yeah, it's been difficult, right? Because we've been hit with a lot of stuff. And yes, that tax, which they call it a mansion tax, which is none other than just a sales tax. It's an additional sales tax, because when you sell a house that is north of $5 million, you need to pay 4.5 on the sales price.
I paid $1 million in mansion tax.
There you go.
Kill myself.
So like think about this, right? So think about me as a developer. I find a property, I develop the property, and I sell it for less than it cost me built. I sold it as a loss. I need to go and borrow money now to pay for that tax on the sales price. It's not even the profit.
And that's the craziest thing. I would be okay if it's on the profit, but when it's on gross.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
When you pay brokerage and mansion tax, you're 10% in the hole, let alone your interest rates and all those things. I'm listing a house for $40 million in Malibu on Carbon Beach. And thank God it's out of the zone.
Yep.
But it's like the people in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills is out of the zone too.
Yeah. And those guys are okay.
They're
but
okay.
for the rest of the developers of Bel Air and all the hills and West Hollywood Hills, where the homes were the highest price per foot for such a long time, they have gotten destroyed.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of them out of business, right? And in addition to that, getting loans, construction loans and all that is very
You don't
difficult.
like construction loans at 15%?
No, definitely not. So my response in general is like LA is always going to be LA. And the amazing thing is like incredible sales are happening right
I'm
now.
going to fight you on that one. Because I used to live in LA. LA will never be LA again.
We'll see. I think
I know you got to sell what you got to sell, but LA, listen, the problem is politics have taken over what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And as long as those politics added up with Measure Eula are there, it's not that the real estate isn't beautiful, because I'll be the first one to tell you.
Yeah.
The luxury homes that are built in LA are uncomparable to anywhere else in the country.
Well,
period.
Do you see like the show that you guys have, Buying Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
It's becoming a success on Netflix, and everybody that is looking at that show sees all these incredible homes. And you don't see those homes anywhere else in the world,
way.
which is amazing. But
Yeah,
then
no, I know. Yes,
that's
for
that
sure.
other piece that is killing it.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, like, there are people that are okay with that. There's a lot of people with a lot of money. They're okay with the
crime,
tax. They're
the high
okay with
taxes,
that.
homelessness.
Now, the crime, as I was telling you earlier,
Yeah.
is a little bit of a bad press. It's not that bad, honestly. Like, I think that I have friends from Miami, that they have come recently, and they walk in the street. They're like, "Oh my God, I was scared to walk in the street," and it's really not that bad,
So
right?
do you wear a watch when you go in public? A watch over $100,000?
I wear my watches. I don't.
I'm terrified of wearing a watch ever in LA. I can wear it in Miami, but I'll never wear it in LA.
Yeah, I think that's can be a little bit better. It was a little rough during COVID, but I wouldn't worry about it right now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So if
areas
I get
where
my
you
watch
shouldn't
stolen, you're saying the agency will cover all
We'll
costs?
cover you. We'll insure you.
Cool. You heard that. Agency covers all watch theft.
Yeah, no, I think that in LA right now, I mean, like the sales are happening. We have 2 sales over $200 million. There is multiple sales in this year that have happened north of 50 million. The real estate's moving, and it's moving very well, right? So again, there are people that just want to be there, and the weather.
You can't beat the weather.
You can beat the weather,
You can't beat the weather.
That's true.
And just people that are there, they can move the business. Now, I gotta say, in the commercial part of it, office is being hurt tremendously. I mean, you can go to downtown now.
Commercial is disastrous in LA.
Yeah. So but in residential, to be honest, things are moving. I mean, I gotta say, I know I'm an optimistic guy in general, but we're good.
So
I think
in
we're really
comparison
good.
to Miami, because you guys open an office here and you see what's going on in here.
Well, here's very unique, right? I mean, the reason when I was coming here during COVID that I decided to open offices in here is because I knew what was going to happen. I mean, it was inevitable, right? Like with all the changes and the tax and all that, I knew it was going to explode, right? So what's happening here is a very unprecedented event, right? Miami is finally, or South Florida, is I think is taking off to a different level. I think that the amount of people that are moving over here, from different places, whether it's New York, up north, Chicago, and everything, they just used to a certain level of lifestyle. All those wives, all those people, they need, now we need to raise the level of the restaurants, the nail salons, the hair salons. Everything needs to.
I've done the restaurant part.
There you go. So now.
Some of the best restaurants, by the way.
Yeah, because you look at the history, like Miami real estate, is like going up, down. I mean, like you could come here in 2009, there were like neighborhoods that were like closed, right? There was like, but I think that now finally it's got to a point.
Miami went from a vacation city to a city.
To a city.
To a city.
Absolutely.
And you're seeing price per foot in Miami. Like I'm looking to buy a home, and I'm lucky if I get something on the water for less than $3,000 to $4,000 a foot.
That's pretty crazy.
In LA, $3,000-$4,000 a foot will get you.
You get the top, yeah, for sure.
Best of the best, and better quality. Much better quality of the build, and that's the crazy part for me, because when I transferred from LA to Miami, I'm like, this is selling for $3,000 a foot.
Yeah.
This thing's a piece of shit. Like I was just blown away at how is this trading for $3,000? Like the most crummy spec developer finishes, and people like multiple offers. I'm like, in LA, because I owned a 15,000 square foot house in LA in a private neighborhood. I sold it for like $1,200 a foot.
Right.
And I'm like, how is this selling for $3,000 to $4,000 a foot? And it was mind blowing. But I want to pivot for a second. You're obviously a very big player in the space, and I can't begin to tell you how many people want to be a broker now.
Right.
How many people are starting to become a broker, attempting to be a broker, but fall flat on their face? For everybody that is watching, what would you say is a key to success if you're starting out brokerage? Not the whole show thing where people watch the show and see the glitz and the glam, because we all know that's the 1%. But if you're truly trying to make it in this industry, what is that recipe for success?
I think, it's always been the same, right? This is not a sprint race. This is a marathon, right? If you're going to come into this business because you want to drive that expensive car and you want to be on the top and really fast, this is not the right business. You need to have very thick skin. You got to be very persistent. You need to be used to, people telling you no. I was a door knocker, so you need to get used to people slamming the door in your face and then just shake it off, move on to the next one. And the ability to move on from every failure, like in life, is what makes you a good real estate agent. So I would say, like, if you really, really want to get into real estate and be a successful agent, you need to take it as seriously as any other career, right? You need to know your craft. You need to understand exactly how many agents, they don't even know the contracts. And all these changes that are happening right now with the commission and everything is actually great, because it's going to make you show your value, okay? So you're a buyer now, and people are not obligated to pay commission to the buyer's agent anymore, right?
And we got to talk about that, because that's a big shift.
Well, I got a call. I'll give you an example, okay? So I got a call about 3 months ago from a lady in LA. She called me. She said, I've been told your name, my name is so-and-so, me and my family have been looking for houses in between $25 and $30 million. It's been a year and a half. I've been working with my best friend, but we came to the realization after a year and a half, I'm like, no shit, that we cannot find the house. And someone said that you might have access to pocket listings, to, the big agents always talking about what you have, what you can bring to the table. And I said, yes, actually, tell me what you're looking for. So she starts describing everything she wants. And I said, I have 2 houses to show you that you haven't seen, guarantee. And so then she goes, it's like, well, how about the commission? Because I know now that the sellers might not want to pay a commission. So what if you find that house and they're not going to pay you? I said, you're going to pay me. And she said, excuse me? I said, well, you'll have to pay me, right? I'm finding you the house. And she's like, but what would I have to pay you? I'm like, what did you call me? Maybe go back to your friend and spend another year and a half looking for it, right? So if you have the ability to explain the value that you bring to the table, right? You're taking it seriously, right? But there are people that cannot even explain that, and they get used to, like, you see a 2.5 in the MLS and you're getting paid that, and everybody can send a bunch of emails online. I mean, so now I think this is going to reshape a little bit. I think this is going to be a good time, because I see how many agents are not renewing their licenses anymore, right? Yeah. And I always joke that in LA you have more people that have real estate licenses than driver's license, because everybody has it.
But that's the one thing, and I mean this in the most utmost respect to your industry. When I'm buying I bought a $20 million house in Malibu, and I see the brokers are making $1.2 million. Mm-hmm. With all due respect, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. To list a house, and for a broker to represent, the broker who showed me a house and just walked me one time gets paid $600,000.
Right.
With all due respect, again, that's a lot of money to show a home.
Great, well now I can flip it, right?
Flip it. I want to hear the flip side.
I saw a house to Ben and Jennifer Lopez. Mm-hmm. We saw 89 houses, right? How many times I had to wake up on a Saturday, leave my family to go and spend 4 hours looking at properties for a year.
On the buy side.
Right? So like if I was getting paid by an hour, I think it would be actually more than the percentage
But
that
on
we
the
make.
buy side or the sell side?
On the buy side, and so is in the sell side, right? Okay. I have a listing right now in Malibu, in Sarah Retreat, that I put it on the market during COVID for $35 million, and I just opened escrow last week. How many times I go there, how many times I show it, how much money I put in marketing, assistants. Like when you add up all that, it's really actually like, well, let's calculate by hour. How many hours? Like, yes, but you call me today and say, show me a house, and tomorrow I find you the house. It happens, right? I make money, it's fast.
That's what I'm kind of trying to say. Like the thing that frustrates me, and I heard what you said earlier, and I respect it a lot. If you're able to provide value of giving somebody an off-market listing, you're providing tremendous value, because otherwise they can't get to it. Mm-hmm. My whole thing is, if I go on Zillow and I see a house that's on Hibiscus Island for $25 million, and I know my budget's $25 million, what do I need a broker for?
Right.
With all due respect.
But you're in the business, right? You can negotiate, you can do your thing. So a lot of people don't know what to do.
This is what we're talking about. The negotiation part plays a huge role, because how many times you probably got a deal that you got it for way less than what it was on the market, and the buyer was willing to pay for that amount.
But I agree, and the key to it is what you're saying, that he is adding the value. There's a lot of brokers who just say, well, I'm going to send you 30 things, and then just let me know when you want to see something. It's like the key that I believe in, what you're saying is, the multiple showings, let me show you things off market, spending endless hours. That's where I feel there's tremendous value for what you're providing.
And let's be creative about it, right? Like you made a great point. Right now, with these new laws changing, now a lot of these agents are getting out of the game because they know that they cannot add value, because they just have a license and that's it.
Well, because a lot of people saw the Selling Sunset and all those shows and like, I could be a broker.
Right.
But it's not that easy, right?
What the fuck? It's not that easy.
Yeah, that's been the problem. A lot more people came in the last few years because the TV shows, they don't, they confuse people, right?
But so it goes by waves, right?
Yeah.
So
no, but this wave was very bad.
Of course,
it was very bad.
It's being cleaned up.
It diluted the industry so bad that everyone thought, hey, I can quit my job, I could do this because I could sell one house and make $500,000.
That's true.
Not realistic.
It's okay. At the end of the day, everybody's gonna get that splash of water and realize, that's just a dream. But if you work hard and you're consistent, you might get to that.
And there's a lot to go into it, right? Like, let's say you like a house and there's 5 offers in that house, right? Mm-hmm. Having a good agent or not having a good agent makes a huge difference. For sure. Why? Because if I'm representing you, I for sure know the listing agent, and I for sure have done deals with him before, and I for sure have a good relationship with them, right? It's all about relationships. So that plays a part. 2, what would you do if multiple offers to secure it? I can make recommendations from doing an escalating clause, I can tell you that a lot of agents don't even know what escalation clause is. And so there is structures and how I'm going to write a contract, how I'm going to protect you, what is in there that can be risky for you or not. So all these little things. And when you start counting all those things, then, okay, I'll pay someone to protect me that way, right? Mm-hmm. So
let's talk about the selling side, because as a broker as well, I want to know what are some of the things that have led you, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners the same, to have some of the most incredible listings. Mm-hmm. I mean, talk about selling a property for J-Lo or Ben Affleck or any of these A-listers that you've been working with, right? It must be something about adding value.
Right. I think that, there are people that want to get into the business and they want to focus on like condos. There are people that want to get in the business and they think or they have the impression that you need to sell first smaller houses and gradually go up. And when I started in the business, as you know, I was waiting tables half time and doing this because I needed money to eat. For me, it was like, why I can just go to my favorite neighborhood and door knock in the most expensive houses as opposed to start in the smallest? What would be different, mm-hmm. right? Like, the contract is the same, the process is the same.
The trust and reputation.
Right, so the issue was that you go to these big houses and they know a big agent, right? But if you want to break into some, like the smaller houses, they know also smaller agents. Mm-hmm. So for me it was like, and it worked for me, I'm not saying it works for everybody, but I decided to just go in the big houses. And it took me longer, mm-hmm. but I broke into that, niche.
What was the secret sauce to breaking in? That's what I think what everybody wants to know, because everybody is trying to be broker. What is the secret sauce? And if you can't say because it's your craft.
I love that you asked this question. I love that he asked this question because I every time I do an event or I speak to brokers, seminars or whatever, I explain and it's funny because actually when they put me in panels, I was with Dina Goldentire and other people here in a panel, and when I think I saw you, it was in the last Real Deal last year or something like that, and they all ask, well, what you do? I make 10,000 phone calls, I do this, I do that, and they ask me, it's like, what you do? It's like, I wake up at 4:30, I jump in the cold plunge, I meditate for an hour, I go to the gym, and then I go with my day. And everyone's like, well, why has that to do with real estate? Well, it does, because if I don't take care of myself, when I show up to that first meeting, I'm a different person. If I roll from the bed to a bad email, have my coffee and go into the meeting, it's not going to be the same that if I'm like on top of my shit, right? I show up in the meeting, people pick up that energy and they know you are on top of your game, right? So that to me is a very important thing. What do you ask me?
No. What's the secret? What's the secret sauce to break in?
All right, so they ask me always, what's the secret? And if the secret is this, if there is 500 brokers right now here, and I'll tell you exactly if there is such a secret. Here is, you have it, right? And we meet again in 3 months, and out of those 500, 5 are actually doing it with consistency, I'll be shocked. The secret is consistency and execution. That's it.
So let me take it one step further. The secret. What's your drive? What makes you want to be you? Because that, to me, is what makes somebody's secret sauce.
Yeah.
Because there could be 100 people out there that want to be a broker, that want to be whatever it is. But what is your killer instinct? What makes you you? Because I think that's where it all starts.
For me, it's possibilities. What are the possibilities, right? When I see people that achieve things that most people would think that is impossible, that to me is nothing other than he can do it, I can do it, mm-hmm. right? So immigrating from Bolivia with $120 in 2003, starting as a busboy, waiting tables and doing everything and this, I'm very grateful and where I am, but I can see that, for me, it's not even, yes, it's good to make the money, it's good to buy nice things, it's good to do all these things, but for me, it's like, I want to see the limits of what I can do, right? How far I can go, right? And that's why for me, it's always like, real estate has been a great tool and a stepping stone to meet interesting people, amazing clients that I'm now doing business with, right? I mean, one of my clients was a developer and now we're partners. Now we develop houses together. Another client of mine is in the insurance business. Now I invest with him in insurance. So like all that to me is super fun, right? So the drive's like, what else can I do? How far can I go, to, if anything, show my children what's possible.
So someone coming from Bolivia that had $120 in their pocket, you made your first $1 million, I'm assuming, a while back. Why not quit? Why not say, hey, I made it. I'm in America. I made the American dream. I made $1 million.
Well, we all know we all that we made $1 million know that that's not enough. I mean, it's just
someone from Bolivia that made $120.
Well, I have to go back. I have to go back and live in Bolivia, right?
Exactly.
No, but
States,
like,
1 million goes quickly.
Or go somewhere else.
The
Yeah.
question I'm asking is, you see so many people that taste success. They buy the Lambo, they buy the Ferrari, they buy all the bullshit jewelry, and they fall flat on their face because they tasted that money.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go to the dark side of that, and what made you propel saying, I want more?
I suppose that I had that, right? So I went through a level of success, and I wanted to have all those things. So when you ask me about the watches, whether I wear them or not, I'm actually got rid of all of them. I felt at a point in time I had the collection of watches, I had the Ferrari, I had the Lambo, I had this, I had that, and then once you have it and you taste, it's nice.
It's meaningless.
I like him, but it gets to a point where it's like all those are just ornaments, right? Yeah. And if you're waiting to be fulfilled with external things, you're never going to be fulfilled. If you're waiting for the next car, there's always going to be a top car, a more expensive thing, a better watch, and this.
But I'll challenge you, because I say this on my shows all the time. It's until you taste it and realize that it's meaningless that you know it's meaningless.
That's right.
Because when I made my first $1 million, I wanted to buy everything under the sun that was flashy to show off, because that was a way to prove to the society that I was successful.
That's right. You want to show up and be like, 100%. Oh my God, he's got this watch, he's driving that car. Yes, but I think that's a natural thing, right?
Look, I'll tell you something. When I first met you, we got introduced by a mutual friend, and he was saying, Jason, he's like, you need to meet Santiago. He's like your older brother. It's like you guys are twins.
Yes,
remember?
man.
And I was in LA, and I went to see him, and we started to touch base, and it was so incredible to see how connected we were on values. And there is one thing that we both have done, which is Vipassana. It's a 10-day silent retreat. And when you talk about attachment...
The 10-day crazy thing you were telling me about?
Attachment.
You did it too?
Well, I did it at a different level, with an additional thing.
So we're very well connected in the wellness side. And when you talk about attachment equals misery, but there is something in there that we were talking about, is how you add value. And it's by taking care of yourself first, because it's by pouring water from a full cup, right? And in this case, this is what you're doing every day. It's the consistency of waking up at 4:30 every morning, going to do the cold plunge, going to do those things. And when you bring all that into real estate, you're going with a completely different mindset. Like we're sitting here today, right? This is a $40 million home that is for sale. We're having it listed for $4 million. We're hosting an incredible event, amazing people. We're having people like yourself that are knowledgeable and bring up value. So the community element of it and being able to be creative is what puts you in that spot. And this is what you're doing now in LA, creating these homes. So I think that right now, if you had to ask yourself, the younger Santiago going back to your early stages, would you change anything?
I actually wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I mean, we can go really deep in this. Like, I think life happens for you, not to you, right? So, like, I think that everything that has happened in my life has got me to the point that I am. Every single thing, every mistake, every great thing, every bad luck thing, every whatever you want to call it. So, I actually don't, Yes, you think about sometimes like, I could have done that a little different, but then I wouldn't learn from that experience, whether it's in a deal or in a business or something, right? It's like, if I just say that, I wouldn't close that deal. Right. Yeah, but if you close that deal, then you don't gain the skill to close this deal that is bigger, right? So not really. Walk the journey. And to go back is like, yes, you get to a point where you just realize that, right? So when you go to these retreats of Vipassana, like the mind is in survival for us. The mind is there to make us survive. Right. So example, going to the cold plunge. In winter in LA, it gets cold. So from my family room to the back of my yard where I have my plunge and all my stuff, it's a 10-second walk, 20-second walk. Right. But the amount of things, although I'm doing it for 3 years now, every morning, that my mind tells me why not to get in the cold plunge, is insane.
I can never do the cold plunge in LA, for the record. Miami, it's easy because I'm sweating bricks.
It's actually easier. You know why it's easier? Because if you are at 60 in LA and you go to a 39 plunge, actually the difference is less.
I know, but I like the extreme heat because I'm sweating so hard. I'm dying of heat. I have to go in. If it's freezing cold, I'm like infrared sauna immediately. I have to go to the sauna. But I want to ask you one last question.
Go ahead, yeah.
There's always this big argument. You're a broker, you're highly successful. And everyone wants to go to the dark side of development. You're doing both. What would you recommend to people that say, hey, I've done brokerage, I want to dibble-dabble into development? Is that a good thing, a bad thing, distraction? What would you give suggestions to people out there?
I think it comes down whether you like and enjoy doing that or not. Like for me, I got into brokerage. It was at the time what I needed to do, and I got into the business and it was difficult, and I did well, and I actually enjoy it and I like doing it. Mm-hmm. But when I build homes, I get to enjoy the creative part of me. you know, to create something out of nothing, right? I can put my taste. I want to put this style. I want to put this tone. So that for me is more fulfilling. Yes, you make extra money because it's an additional business, but the fulfillment of a creation of something is what gets my creative part of Santiago to be able to do it, right?
All right.
Love it.
That makes
well,
sense.
look, our last question for you, which we ask all of our guests, what does level up mean to you?
Level up? For me, level up is leveling up to your peers. And if you see someone that you admire, if you look up to people, and if you read books of people that you like, what they're doing on this, level up to that level of where these people are, you know?
So what you're saying is you look up to Alvaro and you're going to go on the seaplane and jump out of that thing.
You know,
by the way,
I actually, you know, one of the things that I am very fearful about is of jumping off an airplane on a parachute,
yeah, whatever,
right?
Either one, Jesus
heights,
Christ.
yeah, heights. I'm okay with heights, but the idea of jumping out of a plane is something that I definitely want to do at a point in life. No. But like I said, I have 4 kids right now.
If he gave me $10 million today to jump out, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, I'll jump right now.
So that's not a true fear.
No problem.
I wouldn't still do it.
Guess what? We are all, and this is for the record, after this, we're going straight to the seaplane.
Yeah, for the record, he said he's going to jump, so and he has a watch policy.
Well,
you really screwed
Here's my
yourself
wire
today.
account. Here's my wire account. You know?
No, but
wire the money.
for the record, we're going to go on the seaplane right now in this beautiful home. But again, I think that life begins on the other side of fear, so it's about doing those things that you're uncomfortable with. So whether you want to skydive, just don't skydive like I did today, because it wasn't a good landing. But anyway, that was a good experience, and we appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for
coming. I think
coming
you're
out.
amazing, and again,
thank you. I feel the same way about you guys.
Level.
I'm glad that you invited me. I'm very happy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.